Anahagonisanga. Welcome to Native Lens. I'm your host, Rochelle Coulee, and I have a wonderful guest, Karen Therese. Welcome, Karen.
Hi, everybody. Hi,
Thank,
everybody. Here we go.
thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Uh, Let me introduce you, Karen. Karen is born and raised in Minneapolis, Minnesota. She spent most of her summers at her family's land in Tennessee and Mississippi. She remembers hearing the rhythm of the blues and soul-filled songs being played and sung on the porches of her grandmother's neighbors, which now resonate in her own songs. She has toured the United States, Europe, Australia, and India, and has appeared in several national television shows in United States and Germany and Spain. And she has many albums actually, and we're going to have her talk about that. But two of the albums were Heart of the Wolf and Warrior of the Heart, which were released in Canada, Taiwan, Switzerland, and United States and Portugal and Germany. And earned her a 4 NAMI nomination. Um, Karen, my nieces, all 5 of my nieces, we would travel. I'd take them on long trips, drives, and we would sing our hearts out to your Heart of the Wolf and Warrior of the Heart. We would sing so loud. We knew every song on your album. Um, Also, Karen has been in the Spokane Symphonic Orchestra, and she's been on PBS, and she even got to attend and play for the Sacred Music Festival by the Dalai Lama. That's impressive. That's wonderful. What was that experience like?
Well, it was life changing when you go to India and you see how people live there, and you see that you have every possible scent, every possible human element, emotion in 1 square inch, and you realize, and you look around and you see people that they're suffering, but their spirit is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
They're, it's like they have adapted to those conditions, and yet they remain civil and gentle. And
Mm-hmm.
so that was life changing to see that. It was lovely to meet the Dalai Lama and everybody that participated, all the other artists that came from all over the world. It was very honoring to um, the Dalai Lama and the Tibetans had organized this festival in gratitude to the East Indian government for allowing them to take refuge there. So that was really a beautiful thing. The whole gathering was around honor and gratitude, and
Mm.
really something to be able to participate with.
Wow, that sounds like it was a great honor for you to be able to be there and participate.
Yeah,
That's
it was humbling.
So then the next, well, you have several, and then 2 years ago you released lullabies for Liam and Bella, and their little friends around the world, and it's so inspiring. My little granddaughter, we
Oh,
put that in, and she sings to your songs, and she takes her binky out to sing, and then she puts it back in, and then she puts it up, and she sings again. She loves the songs, and it soothes her. So that's why I always just, when we're in the car, I just put it on, and we go for a drive, and she's taking her nap. She loves your song. And then you just released another called Reflections. Are you going to be releasing that one?
that one is done. I worked with uh, Brian Ward and Al Criado. Those are two musicians that I've worked with throughout the years. They're just amazing producers, composers, musicians, and I worked up at Washington State University um, at their studio that Paul Allen had donated, and they put together
Mm.
just an extraordinary studio up there, just beautiful. And I drove up there. My husband and I would take many trips up there. I had to do a project to help just process and transcend the last years of my father's life. I took care of him and he was
Mm-hmm.
here with us, and it was really hard. He had progressive dementia and Alzheimer's, and so for me, doing those projects up there and creating those music projects was really it was just a way for me to express and to transcend a lot of the emotions that you go through when you're
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
experiencing the loss of a loved one, watching that. So I had the opportunity to work with the faculty up there, the music faculty. Brian was the professor up there of composition and piano, and he's just a wonderful, just outstanding musician, composer, teacher. And so I really learned a lot. I wanted to do an album uh, that really brought in all of my family. So there's a song that I'll play later that I wrote for my great grandma Nora, and for my children, and then my grandchildren, and my husband. So all of those songs on that album were reflections of my life experience. And
Wow. I can't wait to hear it. Are you working on anything else, or you have another album you thought that would be that it's an album for everyone? And well, I think all your albums are for everybody.
we just finished doing a project that I've been working in collaboration with a very old friend. We wanted to do something for young girls that were, having to find their voice in our world today. And
Mhm.
we did a song called Girls Have Dreams, which is to help young girls achieve their career aspirations in the fields of um, science, technology, engineering, athletics, arts, and mathematics. So really focusing on the STEM um, career,
Yes.
but to be able to help build a mentorship of professional women to provide resources to help them uh, explore and pursue these careers. So we did a project called Girls Have Dreams. And
I
wrote
love it.
that you can see that on my website, KarenThereseMusic.com. Um, and all my other albums are there, KarenThereseMusic.com. But that's what we've just finished doing. And now I'll be also starting another children's album and working on a couple of film projects that I've been wanting to do.
Oh my gosh, you're so busy, and you do have your other career that brings in your stability, because the arts is not always stable, but
Right, right.
um, what everyone, we have a surprise for you, and we're going to get to take the time and have the pleasure to hear Karen Therese play her piano, and all of you also can just get your tea. It's Sunday morning, and just sit back and get your pillow and your blanket and and just listen to Karen. Karen, you could play a couple uh music if you like.
Okay.
It's up to you, but go ahead.
I'll do a few songs from the album Reflections. And this one I'm going to start with is for my great grandma Nora.
I'm going to try something. I'm going to try to put you on one screen, so I don't know.
So that was for Nora Kendall.
It was beautiful. Do you want to play us another song, some older songs, if we could sing along with you? Sing?
It's actually called Reflections, and I wrote this for my sons, my children. And
That was so beautiful that I wasn't expecting that brought tears to my eyes, and like I could feel that love that you have for your family and your children, and it's
They're
just
everything to me. They're just everything.
yes.
My family, my children, my grandchildren, my husband, our family, our elders. You know, our whole life, my whole life experience. I think as I get older, you know, I look back and I just they gave us our parents and our ancestors gave us so many gifts. You know, you never I don't know. Life gets in the way sometimes. You know,
Mm-hmm.
don't
Mm-hmm.
clearly. You know, but when you have that moments of quiet reflection and stillness, and you look back and you see so many gifts. You know, I've always been able to, in the middle of and in the midst of the hardship, I still can see all the beauty and all the gifts. You know, you have to keep that in your periphery.
Mm-hmm.
That really, you have to bring it all in, and you have to remember it every day. And get up with gratitude and with thankfulness for being able to breathe another breath of air.
I'm here today.
Here
My toes are moving. I can feel them. I can see.
Do we have time for one more song?
Oh, yes, we do. Are you going to sing? I want to hear you sing.
Oh, well, I've been fighting this
Oh, okay. I forgive you then.
you know, the weather changing and everything. Probably
Yes.
not a good voice day.
Hmm.
Happy to play.
I'll forgive you.
You can go hear all the recordings on Karen.
Yeah. And by the way, I have the on Facebook, I have the list of how you can get a hold of Karen, and I have your website, and you even have a fan book, our Facebook page, fans page that someone set up for you. Did you know that?
Oh, I think Maddie set that up. My husband, yes, set that up years ago. I apologize. I'm a terrible Facebooker. I just
Yeah.
never go on and it's, you know, yeah.
And you have an Instagram account and Twitter. And so I've listed all those things down and your website. So,
Thank you.
so yes, we have more time for you to play another hymn. Thank you. So beautiful.
For my husband.
Ooh, lucky him. You are in love with him, aren't you?
Good life. It's
I love your husband. He's
proud
so sweet. Thank you so much, Karen, for playing for us. It's been such a pleasure. And oh, we have some viewers who have some questions.
Oh,
Karen, when did you start playing, and how long did it take you to a standing level? And what moment did you know you wanted to share music with others? This is from Shanner Escalante.
oh, hi, Shanner. Well, let's see. I started playing. I started taking piano lessons when I was in first grade, and that was at the Catholic School of Incarnation. And the nuns were ruthless with their rulers and oranges, having to position hands on.
Wow.
I wasn't really keen. I didn't like it, but at home, my parents had a piano and they allowed me to play as much as I wanted to. So I would just escape through music. I'd sit down at the keyboard and just play and play and play and play. And I took piano lessons from the time I was in first grade till I was a senior in high school.
Mm.
Used to read music, was classically trained, and by the time I was 16, I really wanted to hear or play what I was hearing in my head instead of what was on the music, written music. And so I forced myself to stop reading music and to start playing songs, teaching myself how to play the songs that were in my head.
Mm.
And then when I was, being a young mother and playing songs for my sons, that was so much fun. They used to sit at my underneath the piano and just listen. And I knew then that I wanted to do music um, as a career. Of course, being a single mom and having to raise two kids, you really focus on making ends meet and providing for them. And so I really didn't have time to do that, to pursue music, but I always did it. I always would play. I would always write. It was in 1993 that I was actually able to start working on a recording, first time in the studio, and it was really amazing. And I found myself more comfortable composing. I did a lot of performing and traveled around the world for many years performing, but I found that I really was very comfortable with composing. That's really what I love to do is
Mm.
hear these songs. Like you'd hear a song in the washing machine, the rhythm of the washing machine,
Mm-hmm.
or the rhythm of the car going down. You window down, you hear the tires going, and I would hear songs in that. I'd hear rhythms in that, and all of a sudden, it just clicked as a young girl going down to my parents, my grandparents, and my cousins down south in Tennessee and Mississippi. You'd hear all those rhythms of the music being played on the juice harp or the banjo or the people sitting out on the porches with their little phonograph and playing the little 45 records and dancing and making up their own versions of the songs. And all of those rhythms stayed with me, all those melodies stayed with me. They all just started to weave together as an adult. And then I knew that I found a lot of freedom in composing, found a lot of peace in composing, and found a lot of joy in playing music and singing and performing and bringing other people in to collaborate. Working with a lot of local artists. You know, they taught me so much. It was a very humbling experience working with artists that were so established. I realized how much I didn't know, how much
Mm-hmm.
to learn, and I think I've always kept that at the forefront. Um, so, you know, it's been a lifelong pursuit. I don't think I can look back on any one particular thing that where I knew I wanted to do music, but it was really an accumulation of all of life's experience. And the one thing I think is, um, it's a you know you have to be an artist and to create. There's that source of inspiration. There's that source of that lives in you all the time, and it's
Mm-hmm.
triggered by a song of a bird, or it's triggered by the sound of a child, or it's triggered by a memory of your grandparents, or something. It's
Mm-hmm.
that little piece of inspiration it's like an ember that you keep alive, and whatever it is that gives you, that feeds that, you need to keep in your world. You need to keep in your world. So was it Tanner that
Shanner.
Shannon,
Shanner.
Tanner?
Yes.
Just find that ember that burns in you and blow on it however you need to, whatever inspires it, and keep doing it.
Thank you so much, Karen. I appreciate it and would love to have you back on again. That was so nice to hear, and it's
Thank,
so beautiful.
thank you, Rochelle. Thanks for doing this show, and
You're
thanks
welcome.
all the artists and putting a spotlight on our Indigenous peoples. And thank you, thank you.
Y- You're welcome. Thank you for joining Native Lens. We'll all see you later. Thank you.
Bye.